Hi everyone, so this is our Sunday bonus video. We're doing the Encanto nails that I posted the other day on Facebook and Instagram. I think I put them on Twitter, no not Twitter, TikTok as well. So if you follow me on there, you would have seen them on there. I haven't actually watched the film, to be honest, so I hope I've done the nails justice. If you've watched the film, let me know what you think of the nails at the end of the video. My daughters have watched it so many times, and I reckon your kids have as well. I don't think there's a single child that hasn't seen it yet. So as always, I'm doing 5 nails, and I'm going in with the Lavender Violets base coat, and I cure them for 60 seconds. So have you seen the film? Do you think it's any good? My daughters love it. I've yet to see it. I need to go and see it. I think maybe this afternoon. It's so cold. I'm stuck in the little nail room and I'm freezing. My window is open just a little tiny bit and the wind is howling and I'm dithering and I've got my jacket on and everything. I'm so cold. So I think my Saturday should be spent with my dressing gown on, with the heating on, and finally watching Encanto. So once they've gone in for 60 seconds, they'll be fully cured. They'll have the sticky layer. But we're going to do, I don't know whether she wears, the main character, Mirabelle, I think her name's Mirabelle. She wears, I don't know whether it's a dress or she wears a skirt and a top. I think she wears a skirt and a top, looking at the picture and seeing clips of the film in the background in my living room. So I've gone with a skirt and a top. So her skirt is 3 shades of teal, darker teal at the bottom, medium tone teal, and then a lighter teal at the top. So I used 2 colours. I used the teal colour that I've already got, and it's quite dark anyway, and I'm going to mix a medium tone and a lighter tone by adding a little bit of white to 2 blobs of the teal colour to get the colours that I want. I couldn't hack it. I've gone and put my heating on. It's far too cold. So I'm mixing the 2 colours now. The teal with a little bit of white. I'm so out of breath. I'm so unhealthy. I've only gone downstairs and back up and I'm out of breath. So get your mouldy fried eggs ready to have a little mix. So I give these a mix to start off with, but I wasn't happy with the one on the left. I needed it to be a little bit darker, so I add a bit more of the colour out of the bottle, give that a mix, and compare it to the colour that's in the bottle, those 2 colours that are on the palette. Happy with that. So I'm going in with the colour out of the bottle first onto the tip of the nail. I'm mentally dividing the nail into thirds, medium colour in the middle and the light colour at the top. And this is only our first coat, but we're going to do a little bit thicker than we normally would if we were just painting the nail in all one solid colour, just so that the colours that are touching, so the light to medium and then the medium to dark, you'll be able to blend them a little bit better. If you don't have enough product on there, it'll be a little bit trickier to blend. So I've blended those 2 lines together. I've popped it in the lamp for 60 seconds and we're going to put the colour back on, the light teal at the top, the medium at the middle and the dark at the bottom, and then we're going to blend it again. We don't want to put too much pressure. We're going to use just the very tip of the bristles of the brush, almost tickling the product. I don't want it to be a proper ombre, a proper fade. I just want to be able to softly blend the 2 lines together where the 2 colours meet. So I was quite happy with that. I think they transitioned, the colours transitioned quite well. So I'll pop that in for a 60-second cure. While that's curing, I move on to the second nail. This one's going to be Mirabelle's top. So that's all white. So you want to do a nice thin coat of the white. Like I said before, black, white, dark red, dark blue, purple, green, all of those strong colours. They are the ones that are most likely to wrinkle if you don't do a thin coat. So if you're using any of them, make sure you do thin coats. Make sure you've got the correct lamp as well. If your lamp isn't strong enough, that can lead it to wrinkle as well. So give that 2 coats, cure it, full cure in between each coat. Then I've got the first nail back, her skirt. Now, I've used top coat. I should have used base coat. I didn't realise until after. I was thinking, oh, we'll just smooth it out and, you know, get rid of the ridges, which obviously top coat does. But I was painting, I was doing detail work onto this nail. So if it's your nail, if I was doing this as a press on to sell, or if I was doing this to somebody else, I should have used base coat. So you have that sticky layer ready for the detail work that we're doing to adhere to it better. So onto the white nail again, the Mirabelle's top, give that a second coat and give that a cure for 60 seconds along with the skirt that's had its top coat. And because these are just, I've only done these just to record, I haven't done these to sell. The tips, I haven't buffed the tips, I didn't even file off the little plastic nipply hangy bit at the end either. But obviously if I was selling them, if I was doing them as press on nails, they'd be buffed and I would file the tip as well. So I'm just getting a few tools and brushes ready for the detail work that we're going to do on the skirt nail. So I've got small dotting brushes and a couple of detail liner brushes. So I've got a rainbow of colours on the palette: dark pink, dark purple, dark blue, light blue, green, yellow and orange. And I'm using the dotting tool first. And I kept on looking at the design that I drew off the movie poster. And she's got at the very bottom corner a 4-petal flower. So if you're looking at the nail, it's like a cross. It's just really simple. I think it's all embroidery. She has a bunch of flowers on there, some squiggly lines. There's a butterfly. She's got a face embroidered on there. She's got her own name embroidered on there as well. But for the flower, because the dotting tool, obviously it's a round end, so it helps you round off the edges of the petals. I don't know if I've apologised already, but this video is very long. It's not my usual 20-minute video, it's twice that long, but this is really, really detailed. And I broke my dotting tool brush. Very sad. So I'm going in again with a smaller dotting tool with the dark purple. And just inside each petal, there's like an oval of purple. It doesn't fill up the whole petal, it's just right in the centre of each petal. And then obviously the centre of the flower as well is a purple dot. And you'll want to, after you did the pink, make sure you cure that, give it a flash cure for 10-15 seconds before you put the purple on. Otherwise those two colours will bleed together. Now I don't cure the purple, I just get my thin detailing brush, and she has like a blue, not necessarily an outline because it doesn't outline the flower itself. You can still see the green, so it'll be the pink flower and then you'll see the dress and then there's the blue line. Am I making sense? But it's like that anyway. Nice thin line. And I keep calling it a dress. It's not a dress. We've discussed this. It's a skirt and a top. So I'll quickly speed through this because I'm a bit of a faffer. So just do your blue line and cure that for 10-15 seconds. Clean your brushes again because we're going to be using the really thin detailing brushes to do most of the work. It is a lot of detail. So I do go in with a little bit of pink on my palette as well, ready for the next bit of design that I'm going to do. And I apologise if you hear any noise, any background noise. I've got my 3 kids here, and where I am, where the little nail room is, the walls are really thin and you can hear my neighbours sometimes. So if you hear that, I do apologise. But we're going in with a bit of green and we're going to create a stem with 3 petals either side. For the petals, using the detailed brush again, I just push the brush down and then drag and flick to create the petal. So the petal leaves on the right hand side, make them just a little bit lower than the one on the left. And then you want to cure that 10-15 seconds, just so you don't knock it, just so you don't mess up the design. If you are competent enough, you don't have to cure any of it really. You just keep going, as long as you're not putting colour on top of colour so it will bleed. We're going in with a dark purple. It's not too dark, but we're doing a butterfly. And again, it's like a child's drawn them. If you're great at drawing butterflies like a 6-year-old, then perfect, you've got it nailed. And this is the bit that I always mess up when I've done one side and you have to make it almost symmetrical. You never can get it quite right, but I think it went quite well. So I don't cure that, and I should have done, because I run the risk of the body of the butterfly, I use a dark pink, I run the risk of those two colours bleeding together. So if you're going to recreate it, definitely do the butterfly wings, 10 seconds in the lamp, and then do the body of the butterfly. And I've got the light pink, and you know, on like cartoons or anything like that, if there's a bumblebee flying around, they always have the little dotted trail of where they're going. So I do that for the butterfly, a little loop-de-loop, and then up off the top of the nail where your cuticle would be. Give that a 10-second cure, and then clean your brush, because we're going to be needing it again. Going in with the orange, and I just want to push and flick the brush onto the nail to create almost like petals again. I'm not doing a full flower, I'm just doing those 3, and I'll do some on the other side of the nail as well. Push the brush down and then lift and flick. Now I wasn't happy at I was happy at this point. I think I could have just left it and it would have been fine like that, top coat done. But I feel like it was missing something, some other colours. There's so many colours on a skirt, so I wanted to add a little bit more. So I got a lime green colour on the tiny dotting tool, and I just added a few dots, like clusters of 3 here, there, and everywhere. And I did go in with a yellow. I was completely outshot. I go in on the right hand side near the top, and I saw like a little squiggly pattern on the dress at one point, and I wasn't going to do it, but I feel like it needed it, so I did put that in. You might not see it, I did go outshot quite a bit. Once I've added all my detail, it will now get a full 60-second cure to make sure all the colours that I've put on are all cured, ready for the top coat. And there's that little yellow bit there, look, just on the edge. So top coat, seal it all up, make sure it smooths any bumps and ridges, and then that can go in the lamp again for 60 seconds for a full cure, and that nail is done. So onto the second nail for her top, Mirabelle's top. She has like is it called a scallop edge design or a scallop edge design? Either way, if I say the wrong one, you know which one I mean. So I'm getting black, and I'm going to mark where I want those two in the middle. I'm going to mark it in the middle, and then just above, because I'll do 2 scalloped lines. Then make a little mark either side at the top where you want those 2 scallop lines to finish, and I'll get a little bit more black polish on my brush and start with the swoop at the bottom, the first one, second and third, and then we've got to try and recreate that on the other side again. Now I have messed up there a little bit, but I can go in with a little bit of acetone on a brush and just clean that line up a little bit. So now onto the top line, and just try and don't join the lines together, obviously. Just nice gentle swoops, try and match them up. And I'm going in with a bit of acetone on my brush, try and clean that up a little bit, and then I'll go in and try and make the lines a bit thicker, the ones that aren't thick enough, so that it all matches. So she has their embroidered butterflies. I won't be able to do that at all. I haven't got the patience for that. I haven't got the steady enough hand for that. So I'm just doing, it's almost like a snowflake, like a flower. So I just go in, I'm literally just touching the bristles of the brush and then moving it and doing another line and another line. I'm not dragging the brush, I'm just touching the nail. That's all I'm doing. To give that a full cure once you've done all the black detail work, and she has some of that pattern on her skirt going up onto her top as well. So we want to take a few of the elements off that onto the top. I'm only doing, I think I do the flower and a couple of dots and swirls and stuff, just on the left hand side. And then once we've done them, they can have a full cure and a top coat and another 60-second cure. So for the third nail, I think this lady is called Isabel. She wears a pink dress, very pale pink dress with some ruffles on, and some flowers down the side as well. So I need to do a thin coat of the pale pink, and I'll give that a cure. I'll do 2 coats. It is quite a sheer pink, so you need to do 2 coats of that. So this is the second coat, and again give that a 60-second cure on the second coat as well. Now I decide at the very beginning I'll use water decals for the flowers. It doesn't go very well. I end up using 3 of the decals and thinking, well, they're quite dark. Her dress is really pale, and the flowers on her dress are quite pale as well. They're quite pastel colours. I think there's like pale pink flowers, pale purpley lilac flowers. So once I put the decals on the nail, I didn't like it. So I'll show you what I did instead. So I found that I had some nail foils that I've got some lovely flowers on that are pretty similar to what I can remember her dress looked like on the movie poster. So I'll show you the nail. I'm having a quick look to see if I had any other foils that were quite similar that would suit it, but I didn't. So I will show you what I've already done to the nail. You can see the 3 decals that are on there already. Far too dark. So I'm going in with the McCart Nail Art Transfer Foil Gel Glue. The thing with using foils, I find anyway, I put a thin coat, as if I'm doing a base coat or a top coat, of the nail art foil glue gel, and I will cure that for 120 seconds, give that a 2-minute cure, and then I'll let it cool down for a minute before I even use the transfer foil. So while that's curing the transfer foil glue, I go in onto the 4th nail, and we're going to do white again like the second nail. I think this lady controls the weather. I think I've got that right, but she controls the weather, and we're going to do 2 coats of the white, cure in between each coat, and then we're going to do a little design on that one. So 2 coats of the white on the 4th nail, and give that a 60-second cure. Now that I think my third nail, is it Isabel? I think that nail has cooled down enough now. So I'm going to get the transfer foil, flip it over, and on the underside I'm going to get a bit of isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free wipe, and just wipe off, just in case there's any residue. It'll help the foil stick better to the nail. So I'm going to place that where I think, because I think it only goes down like the one side, all the flowers do. So I'll try and line it up. I know I'm out of shot. I will get there in a sec. But I'll try and line it up where I want it to go first, rather than cutting it all up straight away. So I've lined that bit up. I'm happy with that bit. So I'm going to cut off the excess foil. I won't throw that away. That will be used again in a second. So with transfer foils, you just have to rub, basically, to get that transfer to transfer. So with your finger, with your nail, with a silicone tool. Couldn't find my favourite silicone tool. I found it now. It's like a flat end on my silicone tool, so I can rub that on without damaging the foil. So keep rubbing that. The plastic bit, the film, will start to peel up when the image is transferred onto the nail. Don't try and lift it up too soon, because then you'll have to try and line up half of the image. But keep rubbing that, and then you can slowly start peeling away, and you're left with the flowers. Now, see, I want to try and hide a few of those dark pink flowers. I don't mind if a little bit is showing through. I think it just adds a little bit of dimension to it. But yeah, I'm just going to put some more over the top of that and just keep rubbing until a genie pops out. So I've got a silicone tool, not my favourite silicone tool, and that's helped rub the rest of the transfer on. And I was thinking, I had this in my hand and I kept going back and forth. I was like, shall I put that there? Shall I? Shan't I? I decided not to, just in case I mess it up. So I just top coat it, cured it, and left it at that. I do come back to it at the very end. I kept looking at it all the way through and I was thinking, no, it needs something different. So onto the fourth nail. This is the lady that can control the weather, if that's right. So I want to do a rainbow coming from the left and then going down to the bottom right. I'll speed through it, but each layer that you put on, give it a 10-second cure before you put your second layer at the colour of the rainbow. Otherwise, you run the risk of them bleeding together. Once the last colour of the rainbow is on, I will give a full 60-second cure before I move on to the next bit. And I do forget to press record, so here you are. I've done lots of little tiny hearts, basically, dark pinks, medium pinks, pale pinks, and a lilac. I was looking at the movie poster and there was a lady far right and she was throwing hearts. Not a clue. Haven't seen the film, but I wanted to incorporate that a little bit as well onto the nail set. So that is for that one. And then give that a 60-second cure again, and then you can top coat that one, and that one's done. And we are on to the last nail. So the last nail, we are using this black gel polish that has holographic chunky glitter in it already. And it's going to be a firework scene. Apparently if someone gets a gift in the film, fireworks go off. Not a clue. But I thought this would be a good colour for the background, because it already looks like fireworks going off. So I have 2 coats of that colour, curing in between each coat, and then I'm going to go in with a base coat, cure that, just to stop any of the bumps because of the confetti, the hollow glitter. And then I'll wipe the sticky layer off and then I'll buff, wipe again, base coat again, and cure. Ready for stamping. I've got a celebration stamping plate from Born Pretty, and it's got 3 different firework designs on it. I love the one on the right in the corner, all the different ones there. We're definitely going to use that one, but it has got rectangular ones. It's got one on the left and one on the top row in the middle as well. So I'm going to use the Born Pretty white stamping polish, clean my stamper with the lint roller, the sticky lint roller, and I'm going to put the polish over the corner where all those fireworks, the cluster of fireworks are. So once the polish is on, get your scraper at a 45-degree angle, scrape it off, roll the stamper over it. Use your lint roller to remove any bits that you don't want to go on your nail, and then you can start stamping onto your nail. Line it up with firm pressure, push down and rock back and forth, side to side, to make sure you've got all the design onto the nail. Use some acetone on a cotton pad and wipe the stamping plate and your scraper and clean your stamper with the lint roller. Don't ever use acetone on your stamper, your jelly stamper. This is the Born Pretty Celebration Born Pretty Extra Large 013 stamping plate. So I'm going to go in again with the polish on the fireworks that we didn't do. Scrape at a 45-degree angle, roll your stamper over to pick up the design, check that it's picked up properly, and take away any bits that you don't want on there with your lint roller. Line up where you want to stamp. Stamp the fireworks onto your nail. And I think that looks amazing just as it is with the white fireworks with the holographic glitter black polish underneath. But I wanted to carry on some of the colours from the skirt nail, the thumb, into the firework. So I've got the dark pink and blue for one firework, dark pink and lime green for another firework, and then orange and yellow for another firework. So once you've done the colour onto the fireworks, I'm not going to cure it just yet. Just imagine a firework going off. You have like the trail where the rocket goes up. So I'm just using some of the colours that match the fireworks, just doing some dotted lines like we did with the butterfly. Just doing some dotted lines where I think the fireworks would be coming from. And then I went back to the third nail. I wasn't very happy. I think it needed a little bit extra. So I put some top coat on, put some iridescent chunky pink glitter on, and cured that. Then I'm going to cure and top coat the firework nail, and they are all done. And I have warmed up now that the heating has finally kicked in. I really hope you enjoyed the nail video, guys, and if you stuck with me all the way to the end, I applaud you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit